And welcome back to This Week. Time now to get the views of our media and political experts, Metro Councilman at Large and Democratic Operative Jerry Maynard, and heard daily on 1510 WLAC syndicated talk show host Steve Gill. We reversed roles from last week. Welcome, gentlemen. Nice to see you. Jerry, just getting back from the convention in North Carolina. Yeah. President closed it out this week, closed out the convention in North Carolina. Different from 4 years ago. Was the excitement the same for the Democrats there? Was his message the same? Was it different? And has he done enough to exit or energize the base, get those people to the polls come November?
Well, we had to do two things, energize our base. And I was concerned that our base was not energized. When you looked at the Latinos and African Americans, women, we saw that there was a gap, not in their support, but a gap in enthusiasm. When I went down there, Bob, I'm going to be just straight with you. The excitement, the energy was at higher levels than it was in 2008. And Obama was there, and the people came and said, we're going to defend you. We're going to work as hard as we can to reelect you. The messages were different too, because it was hope and change. Obama had to defend his record. Obama had to say he had to define Mitt Romney and show how Mitt Romney will not take us forward but take us back. And then also you also had Deval Patrick and John Kerry giving us a light or insight as to what the governor was like as the governor, Mitt Romney as the governor of Massachusetts. We haven't heard that. And so they were able to define Mitt Romney as a governor. If you say you can create jobs, why didn't you create jobs while you were governor? Then Bill Clinton knocked it out of the park. He was just incredible. Him and Michelle Obama, along with President Obama, the speeches were incredible. The love fest that we had, and the crowd looked like America.
I think Steve will disagree a little bit.
No, I actually think that Barack Obama's message was exactly the same as it was 4 years ago. It's the same promises that haven't been kept in the last 4 years. He promised the same things. He was going to create jobs. He was going to do this. Basically, if you look on the campaign trail, you listen to his speech this week, it's the exact same promises that have not been kept. And we saw that with the jobs report on Friday, where Americans are still out of work. And if we looked at the actual number of people who are underemployed, unemployed, who've given up looking for work, he's made the economy worse. That's why they don't want to talk about whether people are better off now than they were 4 years ago. They dodged that question.
We talked a little bit about this last week. Will the Democrats go for the base, as you said they kind of did, or reach out for undecided voters, which maybe they need to do to win the election? It's going to be undecided who's going to decide this election. They kind of went for the base.
No, they did both. They went for the base, dealing with Latinos and women, especially with women, dealing with gays and lesbians. But here's where they went for the independents and the moderate Republicans and moderate Democrats. They started talking about the jobs that have been created by the automobile industry being saved. I mean, when Granholm, the former governor of Michigan, said how many jobs have been not only saved but created in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I mean, telling what we've not only saved 1 million jobs, we've created over 250,000 new jobs in the automobile industry in those states where the unemployment rate has gone down. And in those battle states, in those battleground states, unemployment is down. And so if Obama wins those states, we win the election.
I think that the best thing for the Republicans would be if they could show that Jennifer Granholm crazy talk with her arms flailing around, her eyes wide. Please show that regularly for the next 60 days, because if that's the sanity that the Democrats want to bring to bear, and if they want to explain to the American people that somehow the trillions of dollars they spent on the stimulus, the billions that hadn't been repaid by General Motors, they're headed back towards bankruptcy again. The stock value of General Motors is 30% below when Obama invested our money in General Motors. If they want to make their big claim to fame that somehow they've created jobs, the American people are not buying it, because it's not true.
Yesterday, the stock market was at the highest it's been in 5 years. The highest it's been in 5 years. We've created over 500,000 manufacturing jobs. That is the highest increase in the last 12 years. If you look at where we were, 800,000 jobs being lost every month when Obama took office. And now we're creating jobs every month for 30 months straight. Is the unemployment rate where we want it to be? No. But guess what? If a Republican had been in there, it'd be much worse off, because one, General Motors would have gone bankrupt, Chrysler would have gone bankrupt. We would not have saved the automobile industry, and we've won. And I'm going to say again, it's not about the nation. Forget the national polls. It's about Ohio, Michigan, New Mexico, Colorado, Virginia. And if Obama wins those, North Carolina, we don't have to win North Carolina if we win Virginia and Colorado. So we don't have to win Florida if we win Ohio, Virginia, and Colorado.
Ford Motor Company didn't take the money. They're still in business. Nissan, Toyota, Volkswagen didn't take the money. They're still in business. Americans can build cars without the unions digging their hands into our pockets. And this convention was all about catering to the pro-abortionist, catering to the feminist, catering to the gays and lesbians in North Carolina, which, by the way, rejected gay marriage. They have catered to every base of their vote, because they can't swing the independent votes. They can't swing the disaffected Democrats. They've got to go for turnout, playing the race card, playing the feminist card, playing the gay and lesbian card, playing the union card. And I think it's going to come up short.
Did a couple of weird controversies hurt the Democrats? I mean, the whole God and Jerusalem as the capital of Israel controversy that started the first day of the convention, taken out of the platform. The president urged it be put back in. It was put back in. There were some boos when it was put back in. One, why create the controversy? Why remove them to begin with? And then did it just snowball once it was put back in?
No, nobody reads the platform, number one. None of the delegates read the platform. We just we approved it. The second thing, they were not booing God or Jerusalem. What they were booing is that the mayor of Los Angeles, he said that their 2/3 vote approved when it was clear that there was not a 2/3 vote approving. It was
pretty clear.
They weren't booing God. They weren't booing Jerusalem. They were booing the process. Let me tell you why. There were only 500 people in there of the 6,000 delegates. They didn't know what was going on because nobody told us we were going to amend the platform. So all of a sudden, the mayor comes, doesn't explain anything. He doesn't even read the amendment. He just goes up there with a vote. That's where we were wrong, is he should have explained what we were doing and why we were doing it. And let me go back to what Steve said. It's not about feminists and playing the race card. What Obama was doing is he was saying, we are one America. We're all Americans. We're making our nation a more perfect nation. He was appealing to women. He was appealing to Latinos. He was appealing to African Americans. He was appealing to hardworking Americans, not just union and labor. That's America. That's not a racist card or a feminist card. We're talking to women. We're talking to minorities. We're talking to America.
Democrats were wearing buttons in Charlotte that said, once you vote black, you never go back. That's about as racist as it could get. I'll send you the photo of it.
I never saw
Once
one.
you go black, you never go back. If Republicans had been wearing buttons saying, vote for the white guy, it's the right guy, Jerry would have been having his head explode. On the vote on God in Jerusalem, Jerry may have missed it, but as Villagrosa was doing the deal, they had a big screen behind him with the platform printed out of what they were voting on. And the real issue here is that it was a 50-50 vote on whether to embrace God and Jerusalem. The Democrats were evenly divided on whether God ought to be a part of their platform. That's what the voice vote reflected. That's the anti-God nature of that.
That is not true. What was going on is that nobody explained that we were amending it because it was not on the agenda. We had our agenda. That was not on the agenda. And so everybody was confused what's going on. Again, I want to say 500 people maybe at the most were in that arena. We have 6,000 delegates. Nobody was in the room when they did it. And the mayor assumed all he had to do was say motion for approve and everybody will say yes. And it didn't happen. So it's just this is a thing where the Republicans are trying to use in order to discourage us because we had such a great convention and theirs was not. And if you want to talk about the white guys, you don't have to have a button. Just look at the crowd. There's nothing but white guys at the Republican
Only
convention.
because folks like ABC, MSNBC wouldn't cover folks like Condoleezza Rice, Arthur Davis, and other blacks who were speaking from the podium and also in the stage. And frankly, Jerry, look at the tape. If you want to convince people there were only 500 people in that arena when that took place,
there were delegates.
Look at the photos. There's more than 500 people in there. That's kind of like the hundreds of millions of people who are out of work that Jerry wants to ignore.
Is Bill Clinton the difference in the conventions? If you give the candidates equal themselves out, the wives equal themselves out, the vice presidents equal themselves out, Bill Clinton is the difference. And because he is polarizing, many people hate him as love him. Does he X himself out, or is he the difference?
No, he's the difference. He has 69% approval rate. Let me tell you what Bill Clinton, when the Republicans said, Obama's not Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton had a great economy. Obama's not Bill Clinton. And then Bill Clinton comes and says, I have total confidence in Obama. It made all the difference because Bill Clinton said, in my first term, people weren't feeling the economic recovery. But that second term, they felt the economic recovery. Give Obama another term, the same thing will happen. Bill Clinton was our X factor. He killed it. He knocked it out of the box. And the Republicans have nothing to come back with that. And even the Republicans said, we don't have a Bill Clinton in our party.
30 seconds.
Actually, when you look at the Clinton administration, it was 2 years in when he embraced the tax cuts after Republicans took the House and the Senate. That's when you saw the economic revival. That's what should have been done. Obama fought that. The only way we're going to get that same economic revival is if Republicans win this year.
Steve Gill, Jerry Maynard, appreciate your time. Welcome back from North Carolina.
Thank you.
Stay with us. This week continues in a moment.